We will let in all the peeps.
Roll on in.
Thought you were going to say roll in rawhide.
Hi guys, hi everybody. Look at all those faces. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi.
There you all are. There you all are.
Oh, we're both in blue.
Welcome,
Yes, we
welcome.
are.
Winter
And
blues.
with spectacles, so we're kind of twins right now.
Yeah.
Hi guys, it's lovely to see you all. Hello, 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 hello.
Okay, I think we've got everybody.
We've got everyone.
We'll probably have some more folks coming in, but all right, let's get started. Welcome to the Sid City Social Club for Friday, January 21st, Squirrel Appreciation Day. For those who don't know, we're glad you're here. I'm Mel with SidCity.net, and of course, that's Sid.
Thank you very much indeed. Hello again. If you missed my first series octave of hellos, lovely to see you all, as always. Colin, my friend and quizmaster extraordinaire, is visiting me. So Colin is actually downstairs, if you can see his little box. That's why he's not in his Hogwarts library today. So if you're wondering what on earth is up with Colin's background, that's our guest room. And we're having a lot of fun. And I don't want to waste any more time. So I would like to, you know what I want to do first? If people can come off mute, if you don't mind, and wish Una happy birthday. So can we do that?
Happy
Happy
birthday.
Happy birthday, Una. Hey, you on BBC.
Happy
Birthday, Una!
Happy
The dogs have been set off.
Happy birthday.
Oh, I'm blushing
my
now.
dogs.
I'm
Yeah.
blushing now.
Hello, little Una.
Little Una. Oh no, I'm little Una. It's
And her
Verity.
baby Trill.
I know it's Verity.
Got
I
her
know,
trill
but
spots on.
Yes.
You look fantastic. Even my little dogs wished you happy birthday there, Una. So they all
Oh, thank you very much. Very big. It's a big birthday. I'm a grown up now. It's
You were grown up 50 years ago.
grown up 50. It's 50. Don't encourage her.
Fantastic. Well, anyway, lovely to say happy birthday to you all. Instead, we should have a chat to Mr. Moriarty.
Yes, indeed. Mr. Moriarty, you are up.
Hello,
Hello, Rob. Good to see you, my friend.
and you too. How have you been?
Very good indeed, thank you. Got back from Australia, and I guess the middle-ish of December, and I'm thoroughly relaxed and back in the saddle of being at home and taking out the trash and clearing the snow off the drive and doing all the things I normally and am happy to do. I'm in the swing of it now. Really cool. How about yourself? How are you feeling? You feeling better?
Better, yeah. I was ill over Christmas and then managed to give it to both of my parents, which was not very much fun because they were actually meant to be flying out to America 2 weeks ago. I had flu, so it wasn't COVID, thankfully. And I was testing myself, but my mum was isolating. And the day before they were flying out, my mum tested positive for COVID and my stepfather was negative. So they weren't able to fly out and they got absolutely no idea where it came from at all.
Oh my goodness. I got a cold off my wife. When I got back, immediately I got back, she kind of met me with sniffs. How do we get colds and flus now and not COVID? That's what I don't
I don't know, because it didn't feel like full-on flu because I've had that before. It kind of felt like a very heavy cold.
Yeah, kind of put the blinkers on your Christmas, didn't it?
It did a little bit. It was very nice up until Christmas Eve, and then I just woke up on Christmas morning with a whopping temperature, but it was not too bad. So I was still able to, have a few drinks, open presents, and enjoy it and that kind of thing. It was just
right.
Couldn't go all out like I normally could. So it wasn't too bad. I was kind of almost hoping it was COVID because if that was as bad as it was going to get, then I'd have taken it. And my mum actually, when she was positive, she only had like a very slightly runny nose. So I just said, well, take the positive out of that, if that's as bad as it gets for you, great.
Yeah. Fair enough. This is a good moment to thank you personally for all the cool stuff you do for us, from editorial work to volunteering to help Colin doing conventions in London during a massive COVID alert. I mean, all these major things you've done to help out. Thank you very much.
Colin, I kind of had to do it really because he just wouldn't leave me alone otherwise.
Yeah, he's like that. He's a
I know, he's like a leech. He's bloody awful.
It's terrible. It's just, I don't know. He sucks the blood out of everybody. I don't understand.
Yeah. But no, I mean, all the other stuff, I think, because the club has given me so much over the last, nearly 2 years now. And even my mum's noticed a change in me. So, the least I can do is kind of, give something back. And it's something that I enjoy doing, particularly with the editing and stuff.
You've done more than the least. And I'm very grateful. We all are. So, I hear you've got a list. What's that all about? What's going on there? What does that mean?
Well, not quite got a list. It was basically just a if we end up talking about random stuff, then I got a couple of photos for it. But I had absolutely no idea where we were going to go with things.
We love photos. I will never land on a random thing that's appropriate for the photo. So let's start with the photo, and the discussion can lead on from there.
Oh God! Well, I mean, in which case, I mean, given that it's been nearly a year since we last properly spoke, quite a lot has happened. I think one of the main ones really was that I turned a rather hideous shade of 40 back in September.
Oh, congratulations.
And managed to have a rather nice weekend away with just family and friends.
Oh,
we actually hired a barn in the middle of nowhere right on the edge of the Peak District. And that's actually my mum just off to the side.
I know they're very tasteful placemats, but it also
They
looks
are.
like you might be playing bingo.
I wish I'd have actually done something about them. And we definitely did not play bingo, as you'll see in a couple of pictures' time. But it was all kind of, nice and serene for certainly the first couple of pictures. And this is actually where the cupcakes idea
They're the
came from.
cupcakes.
Yes. My mum has a friend who's a cancer survivor, and
Yes.
she now bakes cupcakes, and all of the proceeds basically go to cancer research. And so my mum asked for these to be done for me for my birthday. So we had these ones. We also had chocolate ones. Yeah. So that's where the idea came from. And then we put your
They're
face on them.
fantastic. That is a beautiful view from a
It
patio.
was, and I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm a country bumpkin at all. I've lived in the city for most of my life, really, but there was no reception out there. There was only internet. It was actually really nice just to kind of have, a weekend away. My friends were there. We didn't talk about Brexit. We didn't talk about COVID. All of those kind of things that just, depressing and in the news recently. We just got together for the first time in ages and just had just basically a major blowout. And that all happened when my best friend turned up with shot roulette and Cards Against Humanity. So it kind of went, it all went a bit downhill from there, really. We've been drinking partners for many years now. My mum swore blind she was going to go to bed about 10:30 in the evening. I think we all went to bed about 3 a.m.
Brilliant. That's what it's all about. That's what you're supposed to do.
That was pretty good. That's actually me with friends that I've known for probably almost as long as you've known Colin, really. We've known each other for like 20, 30 years. And it was just really nice that they all obviously knew me, but some of them had never met my mum before. And so we were all able to kind of, chat with each other. We had a bit of a blowout on the Saturday night about how life had actually been over the last 18 months.
Is that your mum peeking over your left shoulder?
Yeah, that's yeah. So she's the short one.
Over your right one.
Yeah. And then Dave in the back, I've known pretty much since I was about 8 years old at school. And he was talking about why he's kind of, given up his accountancy business recently, basically because of the stress. And he's never talked about that kind of stuff before. So it was just really nice to kind of have that. It's almost like a group therapy session really on the Saturday.
Yeah.
And then we started drinking again, which was...
as you should. I missed that. It's your mum's house, is it? Or is it a very fancy...
No, there was an article done by Sophie Morgan. She's a wheelchair presenter. And she basically did a review of about 8 or 9 different places in the UK that all had wheelchair access. And this was the one that was nearest to me and looked like a pretty good price. So I just thought, yeah, let's go for it. My recently departed grandma actually paid for the place for the whole weekend. So I just said to my friends, come along, bring some food, bring some drink, we'll have a good time.
That's fantastic, Rob. That's really awesome. How long were you there?
We were there for a weekend, just 3 days. And all of my mates that were there had just said afterwards that it was just really nice to kind of have that, kind of rest, reset, a little bit of normality. And I think that's probably been the kind of the theme of the last year, kind of those punctuated moments of normality that's kind of made it a bit bearable, really.
And apart from the obvious accessibility, which isn't obvious to people who build these places, by the way, but nevertheless, apart from the benefits of being able to get into a place and get to your room and out of your room and onto the balcony, etc., is there any other thing about that place that scored points?
I think just that it was so quiet, and it was only about, 90 minutes drive away. It was about maybe an hour away from everyone that I know at most. So it was just really easy to get there. And the view was just incredible. The Peak District, I never realized, I've been in Leeds for nearly 20 years now, and it's been practically on my doorstep. I've just never realized how nice it's been. It was a really nice drive there and a really nice drive back.
So what are you doing to keep you busy?
Videos, apparently. Mel's given me a bit of a never-ending task, really. And I think we've done about 60 odd or something like that over the last year.
You have.
We've got a fair few still to go, but got to thank the team that's actually been helping me, because it's not all been me. That's the rest of the guys that have been helping out has really been useful. So we're getting there slowly. Doing that's been really good, because it's really reminded me just how much I actually enjoy doing that editing side of things, kind of really focusing in on the kind of nitpicky details of stuff and putting them together and that kind of thing. And then doing some of the music videos over the last year, I think, because I've always kind of come from a music background.
Yes, we know about your ridiculous music generally.
Yeah, but I think being able to combine the two together, I think that's almost like if I could have that as a dream job, I think that would be ideal.
Do you have any music videos hanging around that you play for us every night? That would you have permission to play for us?
Well, there was your death reel one.
Oh God, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and, I mean that one came together in about an hour. That just fell together very quickly. I mean the Destination Star Trek one, I think I did in about an hour and a half. When they kind of fall together, they just kind of happen very, very
It's
quick.
sweet. Yeah.
And then putting the music to Yanina's timeline, I think that took that from like a blooming amazing video to even better.
So you came up with the whole idea, by the way, which I think is genius, of stickers at conventions during COVID, where you have an amber, green, and red system. Where did you get that idea? Did you just come up with it, or did you find it?
It was really weird because I think at the time that I was trying to think something up, I think I literally got messages from Karen and maybe Emma saying, have you thought about doing something about X, Y, and Z? And I was like, yeah, I'm right in the middle of doing it. It was quite weird that literally about 2 or 3 of us maybe thought it at the same time, but I was literally designing it as those messages were coming in. It was just quite weird the way it all fell together. It was,
great minds think alike.
Yeah, let's call it that.
When we came up with this idea, Mel was absolutely coming up with the same idea at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sometimes they're the best ideas. Yeah.
Exactly. That's how it all worked. That's cool.
We got a little shout out on Radio 5 for that from Colin.
I know. Colin made me listen to it. We found it, and I think he got it off BBC Sounds and played it back. It was brilliant. Really good. I was really happy to hear that. You didn't get credit, of course.
Oh, but I mean, it was more the idea that worked really. So I was just chuffed that it worked because the reaction of everyone being there and just the adrenaline high that we all got just made all of the organising worth it really. So all I had to do was send a couple of emails and the rest fell into place really.
Brilliant. That's fantastic. Really, really cool.
Let's talk about music instead or something.
Let's talk about music. I tell you what I'm interested in. What is your favourite era in terms of music?
If you put a gun to my head and ask me, I'd probably say something like 70s Motown / funk, that sort of era, really. But I mean, I've listened to, 80s, 90s, just about everything. I mean, this whole thing with Colin, with the music challenge, with the quizzes each week, I was basically born to do something like that because my mum and I would used to have this competition going between us on the way on the school run, where if I ever turned down the radio just a little bit, she'd carry on singing the song and I'd turn it back up and she'd be perfectly in sync and know all the words. And I was like, how the hell do you do that? So it became a competition between us as to who could recognize the song first. And I've done that with popular music. We listen to the radio too all the time, which always has such an eclectic mix of music. And then I did it at school, I did it at university. So for 30 years, I was basically practicing for a round like this to come along, get a song in 5 seconds type thing. Yeah. If Colin's going to play 30 seconds, you might as well give me the biographical info of the artist.
Absolutely. You might as well. Yes, definitely. Write down the whole discography.
Pretty much.
So you're 40.
Don't mention it too loud.
No, shoot. I won't tell anyone. I promise.
It's all right. We'll cut that bit from the recording.
So 90s was your coming of age decade.
Yeah.
You would say. I came up in the 80s. I left college, public school, secondary school, whatever you want to call it, high school in the 84. So I was right bang in the 80s. And I remember thinking to myself, oh my goodness, I really can't stand that we are so cursed by the music that we have in the 80s. And right now, years later, I have a kind of romantic ideal of what that music is. So I kind of pass it around to my kids and everything, like, songs from The Big Chair, Tears for Fears, and even Duran Duran, who I thought were risible back in the day. I'm like, well, this is not bad. This is all right.
I think I was okay for like the first half of the 90s until boy bands came along. And then I was kind of looking back to 60s, 70s, 80s and all that kind of stuff. I'm just absolutely loving it. I think now anything from noughties onwards where it basically looks like the artist spelt their name by text message, I'm like, I'm not interested.
Yeah, I just haven't got into it yet. I mean, I know there's gold in them there are hills, but I haven't figured out what that gold is.
I really shouldn't say too much on this about what I don't like, because Colin will put together a music round on stuff that I don't like, and then I'm absolutely screwed. So, don't give away too much.
Yeah. What I did because of the 80s, my reaction to it was I went really indie. So I was listening to stuff like Genesis. I was massively in. There was an album called Trick of the Tail, and there was the very first albums that Phil Collins did when there was still a massive Pete Gabriel influence over the band.
My father used to have that on in a car all the time when I went to visit him.
That was the first rock concert I ever went to, was Genesis up in Birmingham.
It actually is quite poignant for today. First concert I ever went to was Meatloaf. He just passed away.
Oh yeah, Meatloaf just passed away today or last night or wherever you are.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I think it was more, I just wanted the experience of going to a concert, and it actually ended up being a bit of a weird experience because they had the volume up that loud, and it was my first ever gig that about 40 or 50 of us were quite ill. They ended up, and they actually had to turn the music down part way through. 'Cause it was that.
Never heard of such a thing.
I know it was that loud, and so I think he was at London Comic Con about 3-4 years ago. Actually, this is one of the other pictures in that folder, Mel. And I got to meet him, and I told him about this experience, and he actually apologized for that experience, which I just thought was really sweet of him. But he was taking so much time. He was getting to know. He wanted to know everyone's name. He wanted to know where you were from, and his cues were taking ages. And he had the nerve to call me funny, smart, and a sex god. And as I turned around and I just went, well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, which made him laugh even more because that's one of his song titles. But it was just a really nice opportunity, and he was just such a nice bloke.
I can see.
It was really nice to meet him and actually just get the opportunity, because it's kind of spawned all of these gigs that I've gone to since, and that's probably one of the things that I'm most looking forward to this year, is actually trying to get back to doing that again.
Yeah, I think everybody would love to. Even I, who don't go to rock concerts, would love to get back to going to rock concerts.
Well, I've got 4 lined up, so hopefully they'll go ahead.
Ooh, which ones?
I've got Ed Sheeran, Adele,
obligatory.
Yeah,
Adele, my
in
goodness.
July.
In
She's
Hyde
at Hyde
Park.
Park.
I know, yeah.
Got Coldplay at Wembley in August, and then my first one is actually slightly less known, and it's Jack Savaretti.
Never heard of him.
If you look up Catapult, Jack Savaretti, so really good. He's got really good kind of gravelly tone to his voice. He became famous on the Graham Norton show, kind of gave him his shot, and Radio 2 just played his song all the time. But that song's probably one of my favourites of his, actually. He's really good. So I got that in April in Sheffield. So
Right.
Got 4 lined up so far, and hopefully more on the way.
That's awesome. I hope we can get to them. I really do. I hope that's a doable thing.
So do I. Otherwise, my credit card's going to take an absolute hammering.
So you're going to edit. That's some of your work cut out for you. Did you make any New Year's resolutions? So that's a completely lame question.
I gave up giving up years ago.
What is there to give up? Everything else is given up with already.
No, I think it's more kind of carrying on this new me that I've kind of found through the club and various other things that I've been doing, and just trying to kind of make the best of myself over the next year, because I think I'm probably in the best place that I've been certainly in 40 years so far. So it's kind of carrying that on and kind of building on it, really. So yeah.
Rob, you are fantastic. Thank you. Thank you very much for coming to chat.
All right.
And
we
won't leave it at here.
You've all helped.
Thank you.
So I just want to jump in and say how awesome Rob has been this last year.
Yeah.
I have to say it. He's just been amazing.
Don't be too nice. I'm used to being rude.
Well, maybe later. But yeah, thanks, Rob. Seriously, from me, you've been a real help to me as well. And from the bottom of my heart, you're just awesome. And I want you to know that. Thank you.
Have you managed to decipher the postcards yet, though?
Well, the only thing I can think of, this is, sorry, taking up time, Mel, sorry.
No. It's yours.
So the only thing I can think of is that the film references, apart from the one that actually is literally a scientific diagram of having your gallbladder removed, and all the others are film or TV references. Is that close? No! And I'll even show Sid later because I've got them here. Oh, and yeah, and thank you everybody who via Rob and Tanya and Mallory sent me just amazing get well and Christmas cards. I don't think I've ever had so many Christmas cards. It was really lovely. Thank you. Just wanted to say that as well. Now I'll shut up and disappear, but thank you so much.
And I'll shut up as well and pass on the baton.
Never disappear. Always shut up, Colin.
Old friends, there's nothing like them. We're going to go talk to Nancy, speaking of old friends.
Hello, twin Nancy.
Hi. Yeah.
Hi.
It's cold today.
It is cold today. It's going to get really cold tomorrow.
So cold. I went to do the laundromat. My car, the doors were frozen shut.
Goodness. What state are you in? I can't remember.
New York, I'm like right below.
You're just down the road from me, so...
My computer says 22 degrees.
It's a balmy 18 here.
And then my rear door wouldn't shut all the way. When I went to make a left turn, the thing swung open. Oh God! I'm like, please, can it not be less than 60 degrees? I'm starting to feel like the heat miser.
How are you? I haven't seen you for a while.
2 days ago was my birthday.
It was your birthday 2 days ago, and I didn't. I'm so sorry. Everybody should say happy birthday because they've been dying to, I'm sure.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Nancy! Happy birthday, Nancy!
Thank you, everyone.
Lovely little pointed one at the end, which is the perfect way to do it. And, oh, one of my dogs just said happy birthday too. I think I'm not good on dog.
What do they look like at her now? The old one has a playmate.
Yes, we have a new young wiener dog. I guess new too, about yay big, and she's probably 7 months old now, and she's very bossy, and she kind of likes to hump her sister a lot. I'm not quite sure what that's about, but we're kind of on it. We know it's happening. We're going to have a talk about it as soon as she understands what's going on.
Yeah. Get one of those collars that where dogs allow dogs to talk.
Yes. The older one, Nina, who is now a year and a bit old, is very, very noisy. She's found her voice and she just barks the hell out of everything. And of course, they set each other off. So there's hardly a moment during the day where we don't have dogs barking, because one barks, the other barks, the other one barks. It goes back and forth like some never-ending nightmare in the round. And Colin, who's arrived a couple of days ago, every time the dogs see him, they get frightened and surprised and bark the house down because they have no idea who he is. And they're like, basically, Shana said they were like goldfish, so that they forget who he is after 5 minutes. And so he comes back in the room, it's like, wah, 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 wah. Oh, hi.
My landlady's dog does that too. He forgets who I am. I've been living here 3 years. I'm like, Caesar, you know who I am.
You can hear that's the little one. She's she's got a different sound to her. So what's going on? What's keeping you busy right now?
So one thing I found out 7 weeks ago tomorrow, my niece had a baby boy.
Congratulations.
I sent Nell a picture of him, the little munchkin. Oh, there he is.
Oh my goodness, little Santa baby.
Yeah, it's Jonah.
Oh.
My niece made the outfit and I think the blanket too.
Absolutely gorgeous. I think that's probably more of an elf hat than a Santa hat, isn't it?
Like Elf on the Shelf?
Elf on the Shelf.
So he's 7 weeks old now as of tomorrow.
Oh, I bet he doesn't bark. Ever.
Not yet. I'm sure he will.
That's fantastic. And how is mom and dad? Are they okay?
Yeah, next year they plan moving up to Connecticut. It'll be between us.
They will be, absolutely. They really will. Oh, now they're sorry. It's just become this like fiendish duet that's happening.
It's coming stereo.
One of them is outside, one of them is inside and furious. I can introduce you to the little one. She's probably just downstairs. Give me a second. I'll go and get her because I don't think anyone said hi. And it might stop her barking for 2 seconds.
We can hope.
If Colin could stop provoking them, that'd be great.
Right. This is Parker. And you can say hi without barking now. This is going to stop you barking. Yeah, she's very tiny, but she's very, very bark. Now you can go bark. You can go bark more.
Yeah, okay.
Hello, Dan. Just making sure she hasn't relieved herself. She often does. Okay,
Yeah,
she's back.
the fur on the...
I don't mind the fur. It's the rest of the stuff I can't handle. She gets so excited when you come and say hello in the morning that she just pees. It's like, wow. I guess all young dogs do that. That's what they do.
The moment I come in, Gracie, she's just, I love me. She's some kind of Labrador.
Right.
Like an English Labrador. She has a weird birthmark. It looks like Gorbachev.
Fantastic. That's great. Do you like music at all?
Oh, I love it. I love mainly 80s music, we were talking about before.
The 80s?
Yeah, 80s. Yeah, I graduated in 84.
Which? Oh yeah, me too. And which band would be your favorites? Because I didn't know much about American music.
I think mostly at the time I like Go-Go's. I liked Madonna.
Oh yeah, I saw Madonna. I saw her live. The Madonna concert I saw was the Holiday Tour. So that would have been 1985 when she was singing Holiday, when she was just becoming majorly famous. I went to 5 concerts in 1 year, 3 concerts in what I talk about, 5 concerts in my life, but 3 of them in 1 year. And that was Madonna, David Bowie, and Genesis. They were all amazing.
Yeah, oh, I know I had that opportunity, but like I said, anything that was popular, I would make money. off my parents' stereo system.
Yeah, I remember those.
And also, remember the Columbia House? You order like with the 8 or 12 things for a penny or something.
Oh, do I remember? Not really.
Yeah, but I used to order off the Columbia House thing like 8 tapes. I would get like a whole bunch of them.
Wow,
Like $1, whatever.
that's really cool. Yeah, are you upstate New York?
No, on Long Island.
I should be able to tell, but your accent's pretty Long Island. So what are you up to right now? Are you painting?
I haven't done that in a while, but I've been like going Weight Watchers now. And I've
Right.
lost 5 pounds
Congratulations.
since Labor Day.
Woo, that's amazing. And obviously Weight Watchers are great. I mean, I don't know anything about them because I don't often diet.
You probably
Yeah.
Whoa.
The opposite. They're going to get me to try and eat more.
What idea? Transfer.
I think that's amazing. That's a really tremendous thing to have done. Did you say since Labor Day?
Yeah.
When's Labor Day for those of us who are?
It was September 6th.
Oh my goodness, that's a really long time. So you've really got the discipline to keep at it.
Yeah.
What would you say is the biggest change you've made? What's in terms of habit?
Well, like one thing, I try to like avoid actual sugar.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I try to choose like alternatives. I haven't made a thing of pasta since September 6th.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
Vegetables, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's wonderful, Nancy. Well, great. I'm very happy for you. You're going to just feel better and better all the time. Do you sleep better? Usually they say that a kind of lovely side effect.
I can like probably like walk like better distances, something like that, but like my back doesn't hurt me as much. Or it takes over it.
That's fantastic. And why aren't you drawing anymore? Because you used to be prolific.
I guess I never got around to it. Like, then I got to move my stuff, and then like, well, my stuff's in the closet.
Because they're your paintings behind your head, aren't they?
Oh my God, they're falling off the. Oh man! Oh, it's what I did for like Halloween.
Oh wow! Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
And Rachel Gould, you.
I was about to guess exactly that. I mean, I'm always really bad at recognizing myself. I would say that is exactly. It's really terrific.
I did around Halloween. It was like like a scary looking character.
You definitely got that bit right. That's fantastic, Nancy. I love catching up with you, and hopefully we get to catch up again soon, and get back to drawing some stuff because you're so good at it.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Really good at it, and congratulations on losing all that weight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nancy. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
All right, we've got a newbie up next, Amanda. It's her first time chatting with you.
Hello, Amanda. I'm sorry, I brushed my teeth a while ago, and this has got fruit juice in it. And if you ever brush your teeth and have fruit juice, it's like,
That first mouthful is never good.
it's never good. How are you, Amanda? It's lovely to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too. Good.
Whereabouts in the world are you? Are you in Britain?
I'm in Singapore.
You're in Singapore.
Yeah, I've got my piece of Britain with me. I went there for university.
That was my clue. Oh, which university did you go to?
Oh, I went to Cambridge, so.
Oh, fantastic.
It's such a lovely place. I miss it.
Both my fathers went to Cambridge. My Sudanese father, and then my English stepfather, who I also call my father. What did you study out of interest?
I did natural sciences, which is basically code for I like science, but I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay. That was what science was before it was science, wasn't it?
That's true, because it's all so connected, and now there's so much that we feel the need to specialize, but
exactly,
it's still connected.
It's the original. It was everybody. Darwin was a natural scientist. He was not a zoologist or whatever it is he'd be called these days. That's fantastic. Have you figured out more since you were there than you were then? Because at the time you said you hadn't really decided you liked it all. Have you figured out something that you particularly like now? Is there a direction that you're very keen on, or is it you would still like to encourage the interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary approach?
I think, if anything, it just convinced me that the multidisciplinary approach is the way to go. I just got even more confused about what I wanted to do.
I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. I didn't finish university. I didn't even last a year, but I was doing anthropology and geography. I couldn't bear the fact that the right arm didn't really know what the left arm was doing and didn't care. It wasn't the fact that they didn't know. They didn't care. They didn't care to know. I mean, now interdisciplinary work, multidisciplinary work is becoming much more, thank goodness, fashionable. And people are actually combining their talents and talking to different branches of the same discipline. So even physicists don't know what other physicists are doing, but people are beginning to realize exactly what you're saying. It's all connected. You can't do one without thinking about the other.
Yeah, sometimes the answers are just, you think it's in a completely different field. And then...
Yeah, I've got a great friend, I've said this once before. He described himself as a mathematician and a physicist. He's sort of interchangeable. He does stochastic probability, and that's very random probability, for want of a better way of putting it. He'd explain it much better.
My cousin does similar.
Stochastics. And it's basically trying to guess what traffic patterns will be like even before the traffic starts, or where raindrops might fall. I mean, very bizarre notion. And one of the reasons we're such good friends, he lives in England now, and I live in the States, so we don't have these meetings, but we'd open a couple of bottles of red wine, and he's Russian, he'd bring caviar. Not the caviar I thought, but caviar you can afford. red fish eggs, basically, but call it caviar. I'm sure it's called caviar. And we just sit there talking about how much in common we both had in terms of what we did for a living. And I do acting, and he does stochastics, but he also dabbles in other areas. And we're all just after one thing, and that is explaining what we think might be the truth. And it was really fascinating because we really try hard as actors and artists generally. We try to tell the truth in spite of ourselves sometimes. And exactly the same goes for scientists. So I think we're all actually doing the same job, but coming at it from completely different directions. And obviously we don't do anything that's empirically provable, but not many people really do on a good level.
Yeah, I guess everyone's trying to find and share the truth in their own way and just their own interpretation of things.
Absolutely. Are you in Singapore permanently? Is that your home, or is it somewhere you were just for a bit?
Oh, I'm back in Singapore.
You're back
for now.
Right.
Yeah, my whole family is here, so
I understand. And it's got this reputation as a kind of beautiful oasis, a kind of perfect, I mean, nowhere's perfect, but it's got this kind of, a friend of mine who was I just did a TV series, said, I've been to Singapore, it's actually incredibly clean, and it's almost too clean.
It is very clean, yes. Yeah, it's clean because right early in the morning, you've got cleaners coming in, picking rubbish up.
It is very beautiful. I mean, my goodness, for a city, that strange building that looks like has a boat on top of the building, and there's a park in that boat. What kind of thing is that? That is just breathtakingly beautiful. I know they're very proud of that architecture because you see it on every TV show and YouTube thing about Singapore. It sort of comes,
it's the shot, isn't it?
It's the thing. Exactly. It's like the Eiffel Tower in Paris, you know. It is really beautiful. I've never been except the airport, which doesn't count.
Yeah.
I'd love to go though.
It is a beautiful city, but I guess I'm more of a nature person.
Yeah.
So sometimes it feels a bit
but you can get out, you can get to Thailand really easily. You can get to Myanmar. You can just nip up through that peninsula there into Thailand.
A little hot.
Yeah, and there's Laos above you, and you got Vietnam and Cambodia. I mean, it's such an amazing part of the world.
Yes, it is. Singapore's a really easy sort of base to hop around in this.
Yeah, and you're just the very little tippy tip, aren't you? The very southern eastern.
Yeah, just at the tip of Malaysia. Tiny little island. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I was in Thailand for 4 months last year, but because of the pandemic, I couldn't go out. I watched Thailand through my hotel window and never got to enjoy it, never got to see anybody. And it's the best time because there were no tourists. It was such a missed opportunity. So I basically got to see Thailand on TV without being able to touch it. What are your plans for yourself? What are you up to?
I've very recently left my job. I was in a research lab. I really enjoyed nature guiding, and it really overlaps with my own hobbies. I like taking photos and all. I mean, it's just a fun thing. Oops.
Oh, thank goodness.
Mel
Oh, my
was on it.
goodness.
Thanks, Mel. Yeah, so that's a
Wow.
strong goal. Yeah, I mean, they're just fun.
That's beautiful photograph. That's really hard to do. Oh my goodness. That's so beautiful on that lotus flower. What bird is that?
That's a white-breasted water hen. This is like a pond. I was just sitting down and
Oh my goodness.
relaxing, and then this bird walks by.
Wow.
Yeah, they're sweet little things. Oh yeah, that's it.
That's such a beautiful photo. Look at that depth of focus. You've got it right
you.
on the money.
He was a wonderful model, you know, I was working the camera, stayed there for about 15 minutes, like, make sure you get my good side. I was very lucky.
Why do you think evolution has decided to make it look as though it has two eyes right there?
I feel like a lot of lizards have a different patch of color there.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's because it looks so much like the eye on the other side that it's supposed to like somehow fool another critter into thinking that you're looking directly into the two eyes of a monster here. Just back away. It's amazing. Oh, a squirrel on
I did
International
not know
Squirrel
it was Squirrel Day, but
it's Squirrel Day. Oh, yeah.
I
so
got the dogs
Nina,
excited now.
Yeah, Nina doesn't like squirrels. She's just the mention of squirrels, and she's whoa, 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 whoa. They're beautiful photographs. That's more than a hobby. That's an art form. That's fantastic.
I just like to go and see what I can see.
That's so
Which
great.
is quite nice because I guess, you know, the city is Singapore. And then I think people don't really realize that we do have a lot of interesting wildlife here.
Yeah. I think there was
share that when I can.
I'm really glad you did. Thank you. That's just beautiful. I think there was one of the David Attenborough shows that spent some time in Singapore. And it was about city animals. And I don't remember which animal that he was particularly interested in Singapore. And was it? Do you have big cats?
Otters?
Oh, maybe
Not
it was
anymore,
the otters.
I don't think. The otters, I mean, some people love them, some people hate them. It's a good thing they're cute because they snuck into some private residences and ate up all of the koi in those ponds, and like the expensive fish, you know, not
no,
ate them all up. And because they were having such a feast, they only took the best bits. And these homeowners came out, and it was like carnage.
Oh no. And some of these koi are like 70, 80 years old and they get to this big, and they're $20,000-$30,000 each.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I don't have any of those expensive fish, so they're cute. It's great.
Still
but
like
if
the
you
otters.
do, yeah.
I've seen those fish. I haven't seen them in person. I've seen them on YouTube at the koi farms where the process starts, usually in some place in Japan. And you come and you pick out your koi, and you've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them, and all being fed by machine. And they eventually go up to the top price in the big buckets, and they're the ones that are $10,000-$20,000 each. It's patience. It's being able to, if you can get the $20,000 one for $500 if you buy them that big. You just have to have the patience and the skill to make sure they grow into these majestic koi. And then you invite a few otters for a party, and hey.
It's an investment. Yeah, the otters here, yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. And how are your family? Are they all right? I mean, you said they were there with you in Singapore.
Oh yeah.
Is everybody
Doing
okay?
Okay. Yeah, I think in terms of restrictions and things like that, everyone's kind of losing patience.
On edge. Yeah.
Everyone's getting on everyone else's nerves.
Right. Or do a lot of you live together?
I live with my parents. My sister, she gets out.
She gets
quite
out.
often. She goes back. Yeah, she goes back to her own place quite a lot.
Well, I think it's fantastic that you stay with your parents. I think it's really good for them. And you may think from a different perspective because it is trying. It's really difficult. But this is a difficult time, and they need everybody needs that extra support, that extra bit of, company. Because the alternative would have been a few months ago that you really couldn't spend any time with them at all. So you have to make that choice. And that's, I think, a really good choice. We did with my wife's mom from the very beginning. We were like, we're not parting. You're being part of our very close group. So that we'll never be in a situation we can't visit you. So she was part of our bubble, as they call it, which means that we
really
just
good.
Okay, it was really good. Yeah, we didn't get on each other's nerves too much. It was fine. Yeah.
We do what we can.
Do you have an idea for your next job? Because I know you won't have trouble finding one with your skill set.
I'm not too sure. I really would like to get back into guiding, because when I started at university, I was all like, oh, I'm gonna go out and like do research and discover things, and it's gonna be great. And then when I was there, I did some outreach. There's a group that's called Chaos, Cambridge Hands-on Science, and you do a lot with little kids. I'm not that great with kids, but at that point, I just realized it was just so rewarding for, there's one thing about discovering things on your own, but I mean, with your team, but when you're there with kids and you're showing them something that they've never seen before or never looked at before, and then you help them make that little discovery, that was just not something that
That's really special. And not only that, that maybe one or two of them will have a continuing respect for our fauna and our flora and really grow to love it like you do.
Yeah, and that's exactly what someone did for me. So,
that's huge. That's huge. Yeah. I mean, some of them will never care.
Yeah, sure. You can't get them all, you take what you can get.
I think that's just a very special gift that you're giving to everybody. And I think what a special place to be doing it, because I mean, from where I stand, I know that everywhere has lovely creatures and they're all interesting to people from other places. But to me, the most interesting thing was looking out the window in Thailand and seeing these astonishing birds that I didn't know what they were. They were just beautiful and unusual. I wish I'd been able to leave the town and get out of Bangkok and head up north and have a look and see what's going on in the country, because I know there's amazing stuff up there, and especially the hill towns. Another time. Well, I can't thank you enough for dropping by and saying hi. I hope we can talk again, and please show us more photos. We'd love to see those.
Will do. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You can give us all a virtual nature trail.
Thanks, Amanda.
Thanks, Mel.
Amanda.
Well, we're going to go talk to another newbie.
Great.
We're going to talk to Earl. There she is.
Hello. I'm new.
Hi. Oh, I'm very happy you've come and said hi. And so, yeah, I think you may have heard my dog said hi as well.
Oh yeah, and I say hi back. My cat would love to say hi as well. He's alive and well, just in case you were wondering.
Good.
Yeah.
No, if you show, yeah, okay. Now I'm having so much trouble with the cat world.
Actually, let me check. Yeah, he's well.
Good. Where are you, Earl? It's lovely to meet you, as I've said.
Baltimore.
Yeah. How's it going?
Well, I really enjoy the great variety of moods I've been through in the past 2 hours. I was really, really just happy, seeing people enjoying their 40th birthdays and seeing great natures.
So what I want to talk about with you is what makes you happy.
There were many things that made me happy.
Yeah.
The past 3 years were really rough.
Yeah.
It's getting better, for sure. I don't know whether better would be a good term or just numb.
Yeah.
More used to the entire situation.
Yeah.
My school we already went back in person, I think, since last semester. I know, there's a lot of safety hazard that came with it, and then students must get tested every single week. We're ramping it up to twice a week now. And it's still not the safest thing on earth, but I really, really am grateful of it.
Yeah.
I'm not a people person. I
a lot of us aren't. I
wasn't a people person, but 1.5 years into the pandemic, I was like, if I don't feel more physical presence around me, I'm going to go nuts. Yes. And that was me. I was not a people person. I don't know what the past 3 years or 2 years have done to me.
I empathize.
I'm glad, because that really didn't make sense after I split up.
What is your field?
Computer science.
Okay.
Not the
really?
funnest thing in the world. But,
All the fun stuff. There's a lot of fun stuff in it. Normally, I get it all into the whole AI debate and whether or not you have an opinion about that stuff.
sorry to disappoint you, but I'm actually not one of the really popular CS field students, because I know AI and machine learning and graphics, that's the cool things to do. I mean, I think since 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm actually in a really niche field. It's totally unsolicited information dump. I
Good.
work in a field called programming languages theory.
Right.
It's in the broader field of theoretical CS, but we don't just study programming languages like the sound of it. We study actually a lot of things. My lab, for example, we have a tiny lab. We have like 3 students in our lab and 1 mentor.
Yeah.
But our really like tiny little focus is what's called the symbolic evaluation. And
Right.
it's a technique of analyzing programs using basically just very general facts.
Yeah.
Because programs essentially real life programs. You are taking in inputs all the time and you are processing those inputs, and you would like to know what are certain properties I can tell about my program without actually having to run it. Because
Right.
if your program is broken and then you run it, you might just have the entire server.
You're
down.
having more problems. Yeah, absolutely.
So people want tools that will help them determine beforehand, will my program work? And if it doesn't work, what the problems are. And that's kind of the general direction our lab works in. I like to think our slogan, it's not officially approved, but I like to think that our lab tries to do everything backwards. So
But that's just fascinating. Yeah, carry on.
I'm glad you think so. Because
I do.
So most of the analysis in the field, at least in the particular niche field that we're working in, works forward, which makes sense because you want
Yeah.
to work from the beginning of a program, kind of go line by line, and then trying to find out what's going on. But in our lab, kind of the direction my mentor decided to take about 10 years ago was, what if we try to start from the end? It's like trying to solve a maze from
Yeah.
the exit. It's a classic technique that you see in all sorts of fields, but for some reason, it's just very, very difficult to do for this particular paradigm of languages, which
Yeah.
we call functional languages. It's a really messy classification of languages. We are a young field. We still haven't figured everything out, but this is basically like one particular field in CS or particular class of language in CS that's doing things backwards is just harder.
I'm fascinated to know. I think I understand what you're trying to explain to me. How do you know where to start? Because clearly you can't just read the program, and you can't just start at the end. I mean, if you can read the program, but it'll take you years to read lines and lines and lines and lines and lines of programming.
That's why we have automation. That's why we have tools to actually reading the entire program for us and then starting at the very back of the thing that they were fed.
I see. So
And
you
we
make
don't
an
actually
educated.
use our we don't use our
You make an educated guess about what you think the problem is, and then try and find the right tool for the job.
That's actually an interesting point, because that's a more specific way that the people might want to use your tool, is that if they had a particular, say, area in the code that they think might be problematic, they can kind of put in a little breadcrumb there that our tool can pick up. Like our tool, basically, if you don't give us anything, then we'll start from the very back and going to the front. But then if you actually leave little breadcrumbs like that, we will search the entire program for the breadcrumb and then walk backwards, like starting from that point.
Yeah. That's fascinating. That tells me exactly what I wanted to know. How do you know where to start? So you plant that seed in there. And how do you feel, and this is ethically, but how do you feel about the new vulnerability that every system has now towards talented people who, from at a long range, coming up with ways to disrupt the systems that we're putting into place?
Also security, that's exactly what cybersecurity people is doing. They're trying to find out ways to kind of prevent people exploiting vulnerabilities to, take advantage of.
And that overlaps with your field in a similar way.
Yes, it's somewhat connected, and they definitely use some of the tools we develop, but because the whole security protocols that are being used in the networks and all sorts of systems these days are so specific and so just well studied by that little group of people, we're kind of divided in terms of our work focus. It's kind of like what Amanda said. Everything in essence are connected in a way, but because the systems themselves have evolved to such a point of complexity that it's just impossible for us to say work directly with the security problem that's most interesting.
Interesting. Interesting, because I see them as engineers, the people of the security as infrastructure people, and I see you as the kind of pathologist to come in and find out what happened to this person who's now lying unconscious, metaphorically, you know. And then you put your breadcrumb down and you go, okay, well, the problem is here. You as the engineer can find out what this problem is because it's probably software you designed, but nevertheless, that's where we figure the problem is. So Amanda's right in the sense that we work together. We do a lot. I mean, that's a very naive statement, but you know what I mean.
It's pretty accurate. I think I like to think of people who work in my field of study really are like 17 layers removed from actual applications in real life. You don't see any apps written by programming language theories. You just don't. We develop tools that help people to like write better apps or have better security protocol. Oh boy, my screen just went into sleep. I didn't.
No, it's good. We can still see you just fine.
But yeah, but that's kind of the one of the things I kind of personally struggle as more of a theory CS person. It's like, if I'm just playing with theories and hypothesizing about what kind of infrastructure we can have in the tool development, that's just all in the paper. It amuses me. It makes me happy. But if nobody's using it, then like I'm not out there helping people. I'm not out there making a contribution. And I like to be helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I would love to talk to you again, Al, because I think we've just at the very tip of the iceberg here. I'd definitely like to talk a bit about home, the food, and relatives and friends of yours. And I would like to talk about the human China that some of the rest of the world maybe doesn't get to see. And my dogs would like that too.
Oh, thank you for the interest. I have a really wide audience. Not racial, what is it?
Interspecies audience. You're right.
My family are well. I have a very small family, no siblings. I'm a single child, spoiled as a brat, but they're all fine.
Try and get back to us and talk about that.
I'll try my best. And
great. Thank you, because you got an abbreviated time because it was near the end, so we can pick up.
But yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Earl.
Just thank you for also just indulge me in spill my brains all over the place.
You get to do that. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for.
It's been a pleasure, just all of you, all of you, and hearing all those wonderful things. And thank you very much. And Earl out.
Thanks, Earl. Be sure to check the chat. You've got a lot of people who are begging you to join the Discord. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. I think there's another, so there might be somebody at your door. That has
yes, there is. Oh.
Hey.
There might be more than one person at your door.
So the good news is, and you're probably getting echoes here, I've just taken my COVID test and we can hug! Yay! I'm COVID-free!
Yay! Great.
He had to stay apart for a few days because he's been through 3 different airports.
Yeah.
Good.
Yay!
Yeah. So that was an awesome hug with your heads cut off.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
that's all.
Thanks for that. There we go. All right.
That's fantastic. Congratulations. And congratulations. It looks like a bizarre lollipop.
It does, yeah. I'll have it later.
All right. I think that catches everybody up on the happenings. So thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye. Oh my God, the two in the same.
Bye. Be safe, everybody.